winning a war against the Middle East. So the Middle East is a region of the world that is mostly predominantly Muslim, with not many non-Muslim countries in the Middle East. There's really only one, and that's Israel, and also one that's half Muslim, half Christian, which is of course, Lebanon. And of course, there's also Cyprus, which they include the Middle East. Europe has a wide variety of countries with different religions. You have Albania and Bosnia, which are Muslim countries. You have Poland, which is mostly Catholic, and you even have atheist countries like Estonia. But who would win a battle, the EU or the Middle East? And also, no outside help from any other countries, like of the Russia video. So no American help and no Chinese help. And no help from Africa either, or Australia. It's thus Europe fighting against the Middle Eastern region of the world. Turkey starts invading Greece and Bulgaria. You have to take back these regions. Since Bulgaria and Greece, the Balkans are not very developed parts of Europe. The places that are going to carry Europe are the big countries: Spain, France, Germany, Italy, and the UK, and Russia. Russian troops crossed the Black Sea to attempt to invade Anatolia as well. Well, here. The Russian troops get that far. The Turkish troops continue to invade further into Bulgaria and further into Greece. But they stop after the Russian troops. France starts to invade Algeria. And Morocco, along with Spain and Germany. Italy starts to invade Libya. Turkish and Iranian troops push back against Russia. The battle against Bulgaria continues. Algeria and Morocco are able to push back the French and Spanish troops relatively easily. Morocco takes out the Gibraltar area. The invasion of Libya continues. Rebels pop up in Libya. Libya surrenders. The rebels are swiftly taken out by Europe. The Egyptian army occupies most of Libya, alongside Algerian army. The army continues to occupy the sparsely populated desert areas, which are very, very not defended. Russian troops help out the Bulgarian front alongside Polish troops and Swedish troops and start to push back against Bulgaria. And start to push back against Greece. Greece and Bulgaria started to push back against Turkish troops. The Italian army is stuck in a pickle because they barely are able to advance against Egypt. Turkish troops are pushed back to where they started. But Europe is starting to reach a problem. The problem is the Middle East has much younger troops than most of the Arab world has much younger people than, of course, Europe. This is a problem because Europe's militaries are not really that big. For example, Iraq's and Egypt's militaries, even Saudi Arabia's militaries, and Pakistan's militaries, and Turkish militaries are much more bigger and also have much more young people than the European armies. Of course, this advantage will disappear over the next century, but this is a pretty bad thing because Balkan countries are running out of troops, and Turkey uses this to its advantage. It starts to reinvade Greece and Bulgaria. The Egyptian army starts to retake Libya, along with the Tunisian army. The French army continues to invade Algeria. Algeria is now put on a defensive. Meanwhile, Turkey is starting to invade the Balkan region, like they have centuries ago. They stop around the Danube area. Turkey's having a harder time invading countries like Greece, so they invade Macedonia. The invasion of Algeria continues. The UK makes an invasion at the Sinai Peninsula, and Greece makes an invasion to take back Cyprus. But the Turks are able to push back the Greeks from Cyprus. Greece is able to push back against Turkey, alongside with Macedonia. This is mostly with the help from other parts of Europe, as most of the resources are drained from Balkan countries. Algeria is able to push back against France with the help of Egypt. And Morocco is able to push back against Spain and France. So what is the conclusion of a war like this? This war would most likely be a stalemate. But we'll see if there's any possible victory for either side. People on both sides are protesting the wars. Europe starts to push back against Turkey. One problem with the Middle East is despite them having mostly younger people, Europe still has better technology and more technologically advanced military than the Middle Eastern countries. The Balkans are the least technologically advanced part of Europe, which is why they're able to be invaded so quickly. But Turkey is now pushed back to the border. The Russian army tries to invade Anatolia again. This time with the help of Belarus and Finland, they are successful. But they'll quickly push back. As well. Italy attempts to take back Libya again. This operation, however, unlike the Russian one, will be successful. Spain pushes back Moroccan troops outside of Gibraltar. Egypt is able to kick the UK out of the Sinai Peninsula. At this moment, both the Middle East and both Europe are now brokering for peace talks. And realize that fighting against each other is wrong. Trying to broker for peace talks, as there's no way either side could probably win. The Middle East has a young population advantage, meanwhile Europe has a technology advantage. Both advantages cancel out each other. For example, the average age of Pakistan, Afghanistan are very low. So countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria can really send younger men like cannon fodder compared to Europe, where Europe has to try to conserve its young men. So overall, this will likely turn into a stalemate, as either side would likely break through or try to win. There will be attempted invasions by the Russian Navy and the Italian navies, and of course the British Navy, but without any help from, of course, countries like the United States, well, Europe would likely go into a stalemate. With America, of course, I think they would probably be able to invade countries like Morocco and Algeria with America's Navy. But Europe, as so with the Russian video, is kind of reliant on the USA. Even with help from, of course, Russia, I don't really think there was much of a chance that Europe, because of its aging population, would beat against the Middle East, which most of its countries is mostly young people as well. So, yep, that's basically this video. Goodbye.